She's joyous right now, and when she comes to my studio, I have these looming figures with fringe hanging down to the floor. She's running through them, and their curtains and their tents. She crawls underneath them. We're probably most excited about being able to give any child, but our child, this life, which we think is wonderful. She's amazing in the way that I hope every parent sees their child.
We brought him home from the hospital, and quite comically, I started giving him a tour of our then one-bedroom apartment. And, this is the living room. This is where we keep our chairs. Chairs are what you use to sit in. This is the kitchen. This is where we cook food. Food is what you eat. And I was like, you really know nothing. You know absolutely nothing.
What were the parenting do's and don'ts that you got from being a kid yourself, and how is that then reflected both in the books you create and in your own parenting style?
Well, did you notice that there's a quote from my dad in the back of the book?
I did.
All the way through growing up, if you ask any of my brothers what were Dad's 3 words, it was respect, consideration, and tolerance.
I grew up at a time that when I went to school, I remember being told that humans overpopulating the planet will be the demise of the planet. And I just thought, oh, there's too many people. I'm never going to have kids. And I never had an interest ever to have kids. When my wife and I got married, she said, well, I know you're really against adding more humans to the planet, but what if we adopted? She says, that wouldn't go against what you're talking about. If we took care of somebody that was already here. And I was like, darn her. I was still in denial until we got to China, and we saw these 8 nurses, all in blue outfits matching, and they were each holding a baby, and I'm looking at it and I go, that's my baby. I'm a dad. And it was like, I know nobody remembers ever taking LSD, but when LSD was dropped on me the first time, I remember something happened where I felt like, oh, I didn't know I had this part of my brain. And it was exactly that kind of a extreme experience where all of a sudden I became a dad and seeing her for the first time. And my wife went from being the craziest person I knew to being the smartest person I ever met.
My wife and I, both of us, really are overgrown kids, but I think that we did decide that we were not going to mortgage our happiness for the sake of our children, because then they would have the same fate later in life. So while we provided for them, we also tried to provide for them a model of a joyful way of living, which, well, as a friend of mine once said, very wisely, I think, it works until it doesn't. We were lucky. We were lucky because the money hasn't quite run out, We were lucky because we were able to make it work. But a slightly irresponsible way of living, we've modeled that for our kids, and we've modeled the passion of working on something that you actually care about. That's something that they've seen. They've seen by example.